Hello, welcome to Tokyo in 120 minutes right here on the Leadership Podcast Studio. My name is Olawale Ayeni and I'm going to be your host for today. Of course, Alpha is a constant face on the show. Alpha, how are you doing today?
Nice to be here once again.
Fidel is making his debut. He has been, he actually, make his debut today on the 2020 Tokyo Olympic show. How are you doing?
I'm so good and so nice to be on the show today.
Vivian joined us again all the way from Sheffield. Vivian, how you doing? Hi, Sheffield today.
I'm fine, thank you. Sheffield is nice today. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Dapo all the way from Lagos. Okay. Dapo will actually not join us on the cost of the show. We are expecting, that Dapo and also Wale gets to join us on the show. But we're starting on a sad note, talking about Blessing Okagbare. She was suspended, professionally suspended, according to the word of the Athletics Integrity Unit. She has been suspended from the ongoing 2020 Olympic Games effect after a sample was collected from the sprinter tested positive for a ban substance. At this point in time, she was expected, to compete in the semi-final race of the women's 100 meters event. But that news actually, broke early hours of this morning, that she was actually suspended. Alpha,
Mm.
when you actually heard the news, what went through your mind? It is not another disappointment for Nigeria.
No, I mean, you said it all. Hugely disappointing. Since this Olympic began, every day we wake up to hear one story or the other. Very, very disappointing tales coming out of the camp of, Team Nigeria out there in Tokyo. After she won her race yesterday and qualified for the semi-final, it was a thing of joy for a lot of Nigerians, especially considering the fact that, in time past, we're just coming out of, a very, very scandalous situation out there in Tokyo. So waking up this morning to hear this news, it was, I can't say, I was angry, disappointed, and I don't know, what to really make of Nigeria's participation in Tokyo Olympics. I mean, there's been one scandal after the other, one problem after the other. And, Okagbare, is a medal hopeful. We're actually hoping that, when she gets to participate in the semi-final, she had a chance of making it, all the way to the final. But the way it's looking right now, that situation, that's not going to be the case at this point in time. And like the anti-doping body said, they said it was a growth hormone, although not specified. We don't really know what it is, really. So this is the first time I'm hearing that a growth hormone, for instance, will be categorized as doping. So but let's wait and see when they come out with the full statement, and we'll know what to make of it.
Uh, According to the statement, released by the Athletics Integrity Unit earlier hours of the day, growth hormones is a non-specified substance
Mm.
on the 2021 World Anti-Doping Agency, WADA, private list, and a professional suspension is mandatory following and adverse unethical findings for such substance under the World Athletics Anti-Doping rules. The AIU collected a sample from Ms. Okagbare during an outing of competition tests 19th July. The radar accredited laboratory that analyzed the sample notified the AIU of the adverse analytical finding at the midday Central European Time yesterday, Friday, July 30th. The athlete was notified of the advanced analytical finding of the provisional suspension, and this morning in Tokyo she has scheduled to participate. Okay, the athletics integrity unit was just actually that was a statement
Mm.
from the athletics integrity unit. Okagbare, she was expected to compete in the semi-final of the 100 meters, having won her heat in the first round, but at this point in time, just so sad that even the event has been concluded. A winner has been emerged
Yeah.
in that. But,
Mm.
but what do you make of it? Let me hear straight To Vivian. Vivian, when the news actually broke, what actually come to your mind?
I was very, very shocked. This was something that was not expected. Given the fact that she was very vocal against the disqualification of the 10 athletes for the out of competition drug tests. So I was really, really shocked. And it was something that, I don't know, it blew my mind. And so I have like so many questions. Did she know that it was a banned substance? And like, what specific substance was it? So we just have to see the next few days if she's going to make a statement about this.
Hmm. Fidelis, let's get a reaction from the news.
All right. After the hula balloons that surrounded the AFN, our first one gave us a reason to smile in the Olympics. We actually hoped that she would end up bringing us a medal. But when the news broke out yesterday, in fact, I was shocked. I had to, check several platforms just to be sure that it was true. But it's so sad. Just like you said, the body said is growth hormone substance, which is not yet specified. But um, as time goes on, let's see what they would do if it's something they could see how they can bring her back into the sport. But even now, though they said they've suspended her, but if they could bring her back into the sport, let's see how it goes. But we wish her the best of her careers, right?
Of course, we wish her all the best in her career. Dapo, join us all the way from Lagos. Dapo, if you can hear me, what did you make up of the news about Okagbare's suspension? Okay, we just received just got to notice that Dapo is yet to join us. But at this point in time, Alpha, do you think it is a plot to actually, to destabilize the team of Nigeria in the ongoing Olympic Games, or it was just way of what we are actually seeing at this point in time?
Right now, we don't even know, what to really make of this, this incidents for now. If it's a plot, if it's a plot to destabilize the team, coming from where? We now insinuating that the sports ministry or the AFN are trying to, cause some disaffection in the athletes, or trying to bring some certain athletes down. Although rumors have been flying around that, because of her being very vocal, especially in the incidents concerning, the banned athletes. But these are just rumors. We are yet to, really verify all these things. So for now, we can't really sit down here and, say it was a plot. So I really don't know what to make of this. This test was conducted on 19th of July.
Yeah,
So, and the results came out just yesterday. Shortly before she was to participate in,
the
yeah,
semifinal.
exactly, a very important race. So right now I wouldn't want to make conclusions whether this was, some sort of witch hunting, or anything of that nature.
Of course, the Vivian, Blessing Okagbare, she was also, she's actually, expected to compete in the 200 meters event. Talking about the women's event, with this recent development, is there any hope that she can actually do that? Can like the Nigeria can actually, clear this and have her back in the competition?
I'm not even sure the amount of days of suspension because they didn't really highlight how many days should be suspended for. Maybe it could be 30 days because that's the normal rate of suspension when it comes to doping tests. However, I just pray that her mental health hasn't been affected by this. Hopefully, she'll come back due to the fact that maybe this would be her last Olympics, so she has to compete one way or the other. But we'll just have to wait and see.
Hmm. We just have to wait and see. But our Fidelis are looking at our hope of, getting to win medals. We know Blessing Okagbare was just one a person. All Nigerians were actually, banking on to win medals, and also she was even expected, to run in the 4 by 100 meters women's event. But at this point in time, she will not. She will not be competing in that particular two events. So as it is, Is there any hope of we getting to take something home when it comes to the 1 by 4 meters event?
Okagbare was actually our best bet for that. But as it stands, since she's not going to be competing in that particular sport again. So personally, I think uh, uh, Amosun would, if I'm
Mm,
to place my money on any athletes in the any Nigerian athletes, now I think it will be Tobi Amusan.
mm,
All right, but let's just see how it goes. That's all I can say for now. Let's just see how
mm.
it goes
Of course.
because the ban on Okagbare actually affected our morals, right? It really affected us. So let's just see how it goes.
Mm. Uh, for looking at the statement from the AFN, they're
Mm,
saying that they have expressed shock at this point in time,
mm.
and they are still studying the issue surrounding the ban at this point in
Mm.
time. Do you think that they can be able to go there and challenge the verdict of the AIU and see if we can able to get Blessing Okagbare back?
The thing is, even if they challenge it at this point in time, the she's already out of
And
the
then
100 meters.
mm,
So will she have a chance in the relay? We really don't know. The whole situation at this point is very, very confusing. So even if they challenge it, it takes a couple of days for an appeal to even be heard and made a decision taken.
mm,
So at the Olympics is just about 8 days to go. So I don't know how long the appeal will take and all of that. Like Vivian rightly said in her opening remarks, did she know, you know, growth hormone was a banned substance and all of these things? So I think moving forward, our athletes, going to this kind of competition really need a lot of education. If I believe the World Doping Board usually draws out a list of prohibited substances. So were these things made known to the athletes we are
exactly.
taking to so it's important that whenever these lists of
Mm,
banned substances are made,
mm,
our athletes should be given enough information so you know that okay, you are not allowed to take this. So that one day maybe something like maybe milk or something or some certain kind of foods
mm.
might be a prohibited substance, and our athletes might not be aware of it. So I think a lot of education is needed at this point in time. But moving forward, as the day goes by, we'll really know, the impact of this suspension and what the growth hormone was, why she took it for. I mean, what was the purpose for
Oh,
the growth hormone exactly? So right now, we don't really know. Everything is a bit shrouded in mystery and all of that. So I'm sure in the next couple of days, the picture will become clearer.
mm. Of course. The picture will become clearer in the next couple of days. We also want to talk about another Nigerian who actually participated in the 100 meters semi-final event. Talking about Grace Nwokocha. She didn't actually make it through to the finals, but she finished fifth position in the semi-final event. She actually recorded 11.10 seconds in a second, in a semi-final event. Our first heat, she actually finished that race in 11 seconds.
Mm,
But at this point in time, in the semi-final, she finished 11.10
mm,
seconds. She
mm.
actually for actually fall behind. But at this point in time, what could be the possible reason for one culture getting to sleep
Mm.
from that feat from her personal best that she did yesterday and getting to fall to 11.10 seconds, Vivian.
High level personal beats made her the fifth fastest woman in Nigerian history. I'd say that the reason why she maybe fell off was due to Blessing's news that broke. Maybe she was shocked about that, and that made her perform less than what she actually would normally do. So she did hope to reach the finals and get the medal, but that unfortunately isn't happening anytime soon. So I hope that she will prepare for the next Olympics coming up.
Of course, so many fillers have been, coming in and out saying that Grace Nwokocha, this is her first
Mm.
Olympics. She's a
Very young. I
star.
mean, she's just 21.
Of course, that
Mm.
she's a star for the future. But at this point in time today, Lisa, what will be your advice for the Nigerian government, talking about the AFN and the sports ministry, to ensure that these particular athlete and the rest of the athletes are put into proper shape, talking about training tours, talking about giving them training grant for them to be able to do well ahead of the next Olympic Games.
Well, you see, Wale, the truth is, in this very Olympics, a lot has happened. All right, especially from the the aspect of administration and the Nigerian management. All right, a lot has happened, and personally, I will just have to urge the government. You see, these young Nigerians going out there to represent the country. This is their career, for God's sake. All right, and we can't afford to joke with their career. Okay, um, the government really has to do a lot in terms of training. You see, when these young guys go out there, they are competing against professionals, and these professionals are people who they don't just train against people. They have all the equipment, machines that they could use to train themselves. And when they come out, they get the confidence and they perform so well. But out here, when you see at times even our training system is so poor. We don't have equipment. But when these people go out there, we expect the best out of them. They can't do magic, all right?
Mm,
They are humans,
mm.
okay? And the sporting event is not something that you go there just because you are motivated or because like we saw one for Esther when the lady was talking about something Oruko Jesu or
Okay,
something like
Jesus.
that. Jesu, right?
Talking about
Yeah, those things are very
the
those things are
rookie
very
athlete.
Yeah.
those things are very important. But in the sports, if you don't prepare for it, all right, when you go out there, you are going to lose.
Mm.
Okay, so the government really has to make sure facilities are put in place. Give these people the best of training, all right, so that when they go out there, when you are demanding medals from them, you know that you have given in your best to them. But with the system we have now, really, really, I just have to even if these guys go out there and lose, I have to commend them. All right, they've really tried because a lot of them, what you see there is much of their own individual training and trying to see how they can build themselves. But in the aspect of the government, I'm not sure the government has really done a lot to help in train these guys and assist them. So I even look at the issues coming out from the AFN, whereby athletes go there and they are neglected, they start complaining. You see, so you just spoke about Nwokocha. Just like Vivian said, I think one of the things that affected Nwokocha was this issue, the news of
Blessing
Okagbare that broke
Okagbare.
out. Okagbare was actually a source of inspiration to these people. You could see when things were happening, she was one of the first persons that came out to speak. All right, so a lot of them draw inspiration from Okagbare, and when that news broke out, I'm sure it's part of what affected Nwokocha. So the government really has to train these people, invest in them. When you invest in them, definitely then they can bring out their best when they get to compete in major competitions like this.
Of course, Grace Nwokocha, at she 20 years old, she actually she has been in remarkable form. She actually become the fastest Nigerian-based athlete since Messi, who around 11.04 seconds in the 1997 in Benin City, and she is actually getting to improve, and hopefully we should see her getting to do more in the next Olympics. We just want to wish her all the best at this point in time. Away from the 100 meters women's event, we head straight to the 100 meters women's hurdle where our own Tobi Amusan, she actually cruised to the semi-final of the women 100 meters hurdle yesterday. Earlier today, after she actually won at her own heat. She finished with a time of 12.7 21 seconds ahead of the Jamaican athlete and ahead of the rest of those athletes right there. But looking at her performance, She finished fourth in Doha, talking about the World Championship in Doha
Mm.
2019. Vivian, do you see Tobi Amusan, getting to reach the final of the 100 meters hurdles event and, see if she can actually pick any medals?
Yeah, I think she'll be able to reach the final if she runs even faster than the way that she did. So far, in among all the hits, she's the sixth fastest runner, and she's up against Jamaica and also the USA. And the fastest overall among all of them is a Puerto Rican sprinter. So I'd say that she needs to be really fast tomorrow when she's running for her semi-finals. But hopefully she'll be able to pick up a medal.
Hmm. Alpha,
Mm.
can she do it?
She has every chance of doing it. I mean, she's ranked number 4 in the world.
Hmm.
So that's a very high ranking, and big things are also expected. From her. These were one of the few people who were actually looking up to really make the difference for Team Nigeria at the 2020 Olympics. Aside from Blessing, the Adegoke, and the rest of them. So I really think we still have a glimmer of hope in Tobi Amusan. So I really expect that she sheds off the weight of disappointment that has hit Team Nigeria in the past. Uh, since the competition began, and really stay focused to really at least doing something special for herself, for our country, and for our career. So I'll be looking forward to that one to see how it goes, and we'll be rooting for her. She's also a very young athlete. She has a couple of Olympics to ahead of her to participate in, but this is where it really begins. So how she performs tomorrow will really determine how far she eventually ends up in her career. So big things expected from her as she takes on the tracks tomorrow.
Of course, big things expecting from Amusun tomorrow. What do you see? What future do you envisage for Nigeria? Talking about in the 100 meters and hurdles event.
Well, um, uh, Tobi Amusan, she has, just like Alpha said, she has all it takes to go ahead and actually win the competition. Um, but she really has to improve on how fast
On our timing.
on how
Mm.
fast she runs there, because she need to improve on that. And I would just have to urge them, right, at this point. We know that a lot has happened, but they should just go on and try to do this for Nigerians. We expect so much
Mm.
from them, and we believe in them so much, so they should just try and do it for Nigerians.
Of course, they should try and do it for Nigeria. That is actually coming from Fidelis at this point in time. If you can hear us, Tobi Amusan will be actually be written for you when the semi-final of the women's 100 meters hurdles event will start right there later tomorrow in Tokyo. So we wish you all the best. We from Tobi Amusan, we head straight to the men's 100 meters event where Adegoke actually defeated became actually defeated the world fastest no man at this point in time.
Mm.
He actually he won his own heat and he qualified for the semi-final event. In that particular one, he is the fastest man in Nigeria at this point in time, and we are expecting that he will actually carry the burden of 200 millions Nigerians who are
Mm.
hoping that they get to win medals in the Olympic Games. But Vivian, looking at the performance of Enoch Adegoke, that was his personal best so far. What do you make of it? Do you think there is a light at the end of the tunnel for Adegoke?
Yes, I think he could potentially be one of Nigerians medalists this Olympics, given the fact that, like you said, he ran faster than the world leader. So I'd say that if he continues running the way that he does, even much faster, he'll be able to win a medal coming up in the finals. But I'd say that for now, he should look forward to just qualifying for the finals, and then the rest will play for itself.
course, you should look forward to qualify for the finals at the rest to actually, get to wait for himself. But Adegoke actually, he finished at 9.9 two seconds
Seconds.
there about. But looking at his performance,
Mm.
is there hope? Is there any glimmer of hope?
I mean, big hope. If the fastest man in Nigeria
Mm.
can defeat the fastest man in the world, so I really don't see anything stopping him. I really think
Is that not an upset for the fastest man in the world?
it is. It's an upset, to some certain extent because he is the fastest man in Nigeria. So beating outrunning the fastest man in the world, sounds like an upset. So I really think he will really, take it up from there. So it shouldn't be a situation where uh, he wins, the fastest man in the world, and when it matters most, he falls short. I mean, at this point in time, all eyes will be on him, in this event because I mean, even the people who he'll be competing against, there's some sort of fear factor already getting into the race because they all know that he ran in a race that had the fastest man in the world and he was able to come out on top. So if they'll have this at the back of their mind that if they will be when they will be competing against Adegoke, there's every chance that you emerge, as the winner once again. So I really hope that everything will go well. There won't be any disappointing stories coming out of the camp of Tokyo 2020. We've had so much of already sad and embarrassing tales coming out of Team Nigeria's camp already. So we should have at least there should be some good news at least coming out of these Olympics. So I really hope that Adegoke will do something spectacular as he competes in this event.
Of course, Adegoke, he's expecting to do something spectacular in this event. But looking at how he will be running against the likes of the US, the Jamaicans, we know that he must actually cut down on that time, and he must actually get to go maybe like a 9.5, 9.6 for him, to edge closer to the gold medal if he really wants to get to that
Absolutely.
to that fit. But do you see Adegoke getting to meet that time?
Surely, I see him getting to do that, but in this game, your confidence matters a lot, right? And him beating the best in the world, I think that should give him the confidence he needs to actually go out there and get whatever position he wants to get. And we hope he gets to the final and actually win the gold for us. And for the confidence, I think he has gotten that. So he should just go out there, and if you can beat the number one, then come on, it means you're kind of better than the number one now, right? So you can just go out there and get over the rest. So I urge him to improve in his timing, and that's why I wish him the best too.
Of course, Fidelis is actually wishing him the best. But for now, we'll go for a short break. We're still going to talk about Enoch Adegoke. Also, Ishakiri is in the news. Divine Oduduru is in the news, but in the bad light for him at this point in time. He's not really working in for Divine Oduduru at this point. But for now, we'll go for a short break. It's still the Tokyo in 120 minutes right here on the Leadership Podcast Studio. Don't go nowhere. Of course, it's still 2020 Tokyo in 120 minutes right here on the Leadership Podcast. We are actually not talking about Team Nigeria's performance in the athletics event that actually happened earlier today. And we're actually not talking about Enoch Adegoke. As it stands, he's the one that we all are actually relying on for him to deliver the goods for Nigeria during the semi-final. And hopefully, he should actually qualify for the final at the end of the semi-final event in the early hours of tomorrow. Also, not only Enoch Adegoke has actually qualified in the men's 100 meters event. Also, we have our own Shakiri. He has actually qualified in that particular event and trying to get his particular score. But at this point in time, I think he ran around 11, 10, 10.2 or in that particular order. I just want to quickly get his score. Okay, in his first heat, he ran 10.15 seconds in his first heat. He actually qualified as the third best in that particular group. As you can see on your screen right there, he actually qualified. He finished in fifth position, but he actually sixth position. But his timing was actually no better than the rest of those other guys in the other heats. But looking at his timing, Vivian, is there any hope for him to improve in the semi-final? Because with this call, he can actually not get to the finals of the 100 meters event.
I think again he needs to run faster than his current performance because he's up against Jamaica, Britain. It's going to be a really tough game for him tomorrow, but hopefully he'll be able to just go there and do his best.
Of course, he will just actually go and do his best. At this point in time, Alpha looking at his performance, 10.15 seconds. When the likes of Osin both were actually sweeping out the gold medal, he was actually running 9.5, 9.3, there about 9.90 there about. How will Ishakiri actually get to improve on his timing?
Well, he needs to improve, and thankfully enough, there's no Usain Bolt in this one. So, so I think he really needs to improve if he stands a chance of winning because the person who came first, finished about 9 seconds thereabout. So and the other qualified people finished around 10.12 seconds. So, not a really huge margin if you ask me. So he finishing 10.15 seconds, I think he really needs to give himself, an extra push to at least fall within the bracket of maybe, between 10.11, 10.12 to really, stand a realistic chance of, making the podium or something like that. So he needs all the motivation he needs. I mean, good one for him. When you get this kind of result, it is supposed to be something that will motivate you and spur you on to even go ahead and do better. So I really hope that he should, challenge himself and actually push himself because, like Vivian rightly said, he'll be coming against, the Jamaicans and that one. The Americans are also in the mix too. And, when it comes to athletics events, these are the people who sort of like own it, the Jamaicans, the Americans. Even the female event. The Jamaicans. Broke a new record. So you really need to be at his best. To come against these people. So let's see what happens. We will be rooting for him as always. Thankfully enough, he's still in the mix. Same for Adegoke. So at least you're not all the bad situation all round. So we look forward to having him at least redeem some, some sort of pride and a good Nigeria, give Nigeria a good image out there in the Olympics, and we'll keep an eye on that one.
Of course, I'm looking at the semi-final out of the three heats. The first two from all the heats will actually qualify to the finals. Then the best two in all the heats, that's the best two athletes that actually finished above the rest in all the heats. We actually not joined them in the finals. But Fidelis can Enoch, so can Shakiri, qualify, even though not from the best two in his heat, can he actually not qualify through the back door?
Mm. Well, firstly, I would say uh, I have to commend him for coming this far. All right, and also, you know, 10.9 and 10.15, though the gap is not so much, but whenever you want whenever you have someone ahead of you, it means there's always room for improvement. Okay, even if you are the best, they say the biggest room in the world is the room for improvement. You always have to keep improving. So anyway, whether the back door or the front door or through the window, wherever he's coming,
You should just ensure that he qualifies to the finals.
that's what we just need. Let him qualify. But even at that, he should make sure he qualifies clean, okay? So that there won't be any room for disqualification or anything later on.
Looking at the semi-final of the looking at the semi-final, the Italians are there, the US, Jamaica's, Qatar, Australia, Germany, Great Britain, South Africa are there. In that particular one, that is in Adegoke's, a group. Talking about Shakira's group, the Great Britain, South Africa, Jamaica, Canada, USA, France, and Kenya would be there. But there's a certain, Nigerian actually,
For Qatar.
of course, he's actually not competing for Qatar in that particular one. Talking about Femi Ogunde, actually no, qualified for Qatar at this point.
These are some of the things, I'm sure he was in Qatar for a while, or maybe somehow found his way in Qatar, and maybe the opportunity came for him to represent that country at the Olympics, and he grabbed it with both hands and these are the things we keep saying. When you don't take care of your athletes, there's always this chance of losing them to other countries who are ready, to take care of them. So I'm sure his case will be one of them too. But because you hardly see, for instance, let's say an American or an athlete from one of these European countries say they're going to represent another country. It's usually very difficult because they have all the facilities at their disposal, all the funding they need. Everything is well taken care of. They don't really have to worry about bonuses, allowances. All you have to do is everything is taken care of. All you have to do is focus on your career. That's all you have to do. So I'm sure this Secretary, I'm very sure, it is one of those situations. Maybe, surgeon to Qatar and somehow, began running, and somehow he was able to, start representing the country, and he'll be coming against his own countrymen, but if eventually he wins a medal, it will be attributed to Qatar and not Nigeria.
Of course,
absolutely, because he's running with the Qatari flag. So it's important going forward that we really need to restructure things in sports in this country, so that we won't be having incidents of your going for this kind of event and you're up against competing against your fellow man, only that is running for a country. I mean, even in the basketball event, I think what country was that we had a Nigerian presenting them? I think was it Japan or one of them,
Japan, yes,
exactly. So these are the issues, but with the way things are happening, like someone said the other day, with this kind of incidents we had in this Tokyo Olympics, how many of these athletes want to exactly
us in the future?
So in future we might be surprised not to hear that some of these athletes have actually dumped Nigeria for other countries. So it won't be surprising. So we really need to put our acts together for our athletes to really do well in this competition. There's no magic in this thing. If you prepare well, you put the right structures in place for your athletes, they'll definitely perform. I mean, these other countries perform not because they are a special breed or something like that, but because the right structures have been put in place for them to, go out there and do their thing. When you're in a situation where you don't worry about anything, the only thing you worry about is
just for your career.
For your career,
go to the track, train.
Because you're not training and running, and while you're running, you're at the back of your mind, you're thinking about what am I going to eat? How am I going to get paid? Will I get paid? When will my allowances come? All
I
that.
have to pay school fees.
Exactly.
My family members.
You have so many dependents back home who are depending on you. But when you're in a situation where all those things are taken care of, all you are focused on is on the tracks.
It's just for you to deliver on the
That's
track.
all. So
Same
we
thing actually
really,
happened during the World Championship where a certain Nigeria, I've forgotten her name. I think she's from the eastern part of the country. She actually she ran for Brian, and she actually won the 400 meters event in that particular one. She emerged the world champions.
yeah,
It was just so sad that at a very tender age, she was taking away from Nigeria
to
for her to
mm,
study there. And according to the report, actually, get to read that they paid for her schooling, they paid for all her housing accommodation, they paid for her feeding, they give her monthly, money just to keep her in shape, and she actually went there to to do that country proud. It's just so sad that they are getting to lose our stars to countries
of
that we
course,
don't even expect
exactly. Because
them
if
to actually
yes, if she had remained
take
here,
over.
I mean, no, but maybe who knows? Maybe nobody would have even heard of her.
Mm.
But because she was able to, school there,
Mm.
got to represent the country. She's now a world champion.
Mm.
But if she was here, maybe who knows? Maybe she would have have been this bickering, or who knows? Maybe she would have been one of the banned athletes. For sheer negligence on the part of the Nigerian authorities. So let's really hope that our representative Shakiri, the Adegoke, really do something special. We will be looking forward to that.
Of course, another Nigerian that we were all were actually expecting that he would deliver the goods for Nigeria in the 100 meters event was actually not disqualified. Talking about Divine Oduduru, he was actually not disqualified for beating the gun, and that particular you can see on your screen there. A red card was actually being shown to him at this point in time. That actually ended his dream and his quest in the 100 meters event. But if it did this, what do you think will be running through the minds of Divine Oduduru being seeing that red card being shown to him?
Well, since it actually happened, a lot of people have been saying different things. Okay, some will tell you that it's actually a fight against the blacks. Some will say some persons don't. Is a fight against Nigerians. They don't need Nigerians in the sport. But the truth is, you see, even before now, a lot of persons have been talking about this single force start, all right, whereby you just when an athlete beats the gun just once, you just red cards that athlete. At least twice would be fair, okay? Because this is actually something that can happen by mistake.
This is
You understand?
this is the world biggest stage. You just have to be on your A game at every given time.
Exactly, so
Sure.
I don't know, was it anxiety? What was
And he's a well experienced athlete.
Exactly,
So this is not his first Olympics.
yes, so I really don't know
This is not his first Olympic, but anything can happen. But twice is not bad, all right? You could actually say, okay, if you do it twice, then you are red carded.
I
But
think it was
one
a rule
should
before,
be
but
one.
now
Yeah,
it's
it was like that before they had to adjust to just that single force start, right? But anyway, we shouldn't allow it to get over him, to get to him, okay? Because it happens in sports, but now that it has happened to him, because a lot of persons felt like, okay, this other guy from I think the other guy from USA, okay, it's like he even moved before Oduduru moved, but so unfortunate that Oduduru was recorded. But generally, I would just have to say it seems Nigeria is just kind of unfortunate in this year's in this year's Olympic
Absolutely.
competition. Seriously, Nigeria just seems to be unfortunate in the whole competition. But actually get to him, it's part of the game.
It's part of the game. Vivian, do you think is a plot to actually destabilize the team Nigeria in the ongoing Olympic Games, or it's just the rules that Divine Oduduru actually went against?
I don't think there's any plot. At the end of the day, the rules are the rules. It's very unfortunate that his reaction time was not on point in order to start exactly when the gun hits. However, I don't know. maybe we'll see what's next for him the next Olympics if he qualifies. It's really unfortunate. Maybe they could have given him a yellow card and then a red card, but everything happened the way that it did. So we just have to move forward and see what's going to happen tomorrow.
And let's just wait and see what is going to happen tomorrow. At this point in time, we want to read your comments coming in and out from our Facebook page. You can actually join in the show, send in your comments about Team Nigeria's performance so far, and we get to read it on air. This one is coming from Uwa Oyiye. Is saying, I am hearing you here in Enugu State. Thank you for joining us all the way from Enugu State. This one is coming from Monday. Dapi is saying, if you hear this sound in your studio, just know that it is me shouting AYE around about. Of course, maybe he's shouting to support the team Nigeria right there in Tokyo. Haruna Mukhtar is saying we will continue to no, according to what you just said, if we don't get to select the right athletes, we will continue to fail in the Olympic Games. So at this point in time, it's the athlete that actually meets the timing that get to qualify for the Olympic
absolutely.
Games. Athletes are not just picked.
No sentiments here.
To qualify. There's no sentiments here at this point.
You need to go for trials and all of that. So it's from those trials that you get to qualify. It's not like they just pick athletes randomly. No, it's not done that way. You have to go for trials and actually meet up the requirements to qualify. So
of course, Abubakar Muhammad is saying, my country, Nigeria. Of course, you just have to support your country. Have to support your country at every given time. Dear Henry Bida is watching from Monrovia, Liberia. Thank you for watching us all the way from Liberia. You can actually keep sending your comments. Be rest assured that we're going to read it as they come right here on the Leadership Podcast studio. But we're still talking about Divine Oduduru. We know he's not actually not competing in the 100 meters event alone. He will be competing in the 200 meters event. Would this recent incident, we did actually has he actually learned from him, or we did actually get to learn from this him being sent off from the 100 meters rate ahead of his 200 meters event?
I mean, he should have learned his mistake. I mean, if it was, maybe as a result of anxiety or he didn't clearly know about the rules, then he knows better now, and thankfully enough, he still has another chance to compete, in the 200 meters. So I think this time is for him to, be more cautious, calm down, take your time, and, just wait for the gun to go off. I mean, why jump the gun in the first place? So just calm down and do your thing, So he must have learned from this, but he's sad that, he was completely, disqualified from even taking part in the 100 meters. But he still has a chance, and he should just go out there, learn from his mistake, and try to put up a good showing as he competes in the 200 meters race.
Of course, there are so many comments, pouring in our Facebook page on the suspension of Blessing Okagbare at this point in time. We want to read some of those comments. Osas Phillips says she is a motivator and the only person championing our success. That one is actually coming from Osasa Philip. Of course, we go to the next comment. What is she? Is okay? This one is coming off of Flourish. J2Ju is saying that what she is a prospect for a medal. Wow, so bad that she was a prospect for medal. Okay, Godwin Evans is saying, I think this is a gear that Nigeria would at least get a medal from her. This is a robbery. Nothing like human growth hormones in sports that are competing with others. If I may ask, is it COVID? Is it coronavirus? No. Well, it's good to be attendant, but in this area now, sound like Nigeria is in play a semi-final match with Brazil or Man City squad. That's actually coming from him. No, Saraki is saying, okay. Emiro Akule is saying, hi, my heart is broken. No, Saraki is saying, I hope for a medal. Our hope for a medal is gone. Well, this one is okay. This high does not affect the athlete's performance, but to make
So
some
that's mean the high growth hormone.
young
Mm.
look younger. Okay. Maria Joseph is saying they are indirectly disqualifying us in everything. Now, wow, Nigeria one day will be locked with padlock, not going anywhere. Disqualify everything in these Olympic Games. Now, wow, you can see those comments, coming
Mm.
from our Facebook.
Mm.
Any quick
Don't
reaction?
don't like someone rightly said. See, someone actually talks about the high, the growth hormone. Like you said, it does not affect
Mm.
athletes' performances.
Just to make the athlete look good.
So I really don't understand how a growth hormone has come to be a banned substance.
Mm.
I mean, if a certain substance does not, necessarily impact on an athlete's performance, I I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. So that's why I said we'll need further explanation
Mm.
from the World Anti-Doping Body. Nigeria, they owe Nigeria an explanation,
Mm.
because I mean this is the first time I'm hearing of. Yeah, I've heard of growth hormones
Mm.
and all of that. I mean, a certain, not to digress, but a certain Lionel Messi, when he was discovered in his early years at Barca,
Mm.
because of he had stunted growth,
Yes.
he had to be treated,
Mm.
using growth hormones.
Mm.
So I really don't think growth hormones actually affect athletes' performance. And when this news broke out in the morning, it wasn't really clear. So a lot of people thought maybe it was a case of her using drugs and all of that. But until this news came out that it was actually a growth hormone, that the situation is now clear. So I think we'll need further clarifications of, I mean, how a growth hormone will impact an athlete's performance. So I think the anti-doping body owes Nigeria an explanation.
And just to add, just like Afa said, a lot of persons will tell you that the growth hormone, it actually helps control how your body
Mm.
accumulates fats.
Mm.
All right, because if you do it, especially in the waist area,
Mm.
it controls how your body accumulates fats. And in the feed and track events,
Mm.
your body weight counts, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
If you are not light, you
Mm.
can't move
Mm.
fast.
Um,
So I think those are some of the areas that we try to comfort. But just like Afa said, we'll be waiting for them to come clarify what they actually mean by the growth hormone.
Of course, we are waiting on the athletics integrity unit for them to actually, give us all the full explanation on the suspension of Blessing Okagbare. It's just so sad that this might just be our last Olympics, and this is actually happening to her. Away from stories relating to athletics, I will move straight to the slamming and donkey game, where Team Nigeria, talking about the Tigers, actually, lost their last group game against the Italy side. They actually lost that game 80-71. They were actually cruising in some point. They were actually leading the Italians, but at some point we slept off and we actually allowed the Italians to dominate the game and won the game. So in the first quarter, the Italian actually took the first quarter 29-22. The Tigers actually fought back to take the second quarter 40-39, and the Tigers also they actually went ahead to win the third quarter 64-61 before going down in the last quarter. We going to the last quarter, and that is the score on the screen 80-71. What really went wrong in this match? Vivian, let me start with you.
I think maybe they did not have the same energy that they had during the pre-games, or they underestimated the Italian team, since the Italian team hasn't really qualified since 17 years ago, 2004. So I think there's so many factors that come into play. I remember on day one, I said that maybe the basketball team will win a medal for Team Nigeria, but unfortunately, that's not the case. I'd say that the record that they achieved maybe in this Olympics was the fact that they were the only African basketball team to actually qualify. So they can learn from their lessons and come back in 2024 even stronger.
Hmm. Every time we should come back 2024, come back 2024. Of course, we know there was going to be an Olympics in 2024, but at this point, we are just talking about the performance of the Tigers. Alpha, looking at this performance, disappointing. We expected them to,
Huge, huge, huge
to come to the
disappointment.
party,
I must confess.
for them to actually redeem their image. Of course, they should actually played for pride that they lost their first game to the Australians, the second game to the Germans, and now losing to an Italian side. What is actually going on in the camp of the My Brown side?
Yeah, clearly they went from contenders, before the Olympics to, become, the whipping boys of the group, from their performances during the exhibition games, they're really high hopes.
Of course.
Everybody actually thought that, okay, Nigeria might actually, get something when it comes to basketball in the Olympics this time around. But, I mean, when the show proper began, I mean, the first game lost to the Australians. It was like, okay, maybe in the second game they'll bounce back. But, they kept going from one defeat to the next. And yesterday we were actually hoping that at least, like you said, they were going to play for pride or something, at least salvage something. So everyone have some sort of respect for, for the Nigerian flag. But sadly enough, they were beaten once again by the Italians. I mean, that means in this Olympics, the Tigers have failed to win any game. Really, really sad situation. I really don't know where they got it wrong. Was it tactics? Did they run out of steam? Or is it like they played their best game during the exhibition games, and when it came to showtime, they couldn't, rise up to the occasion anymore? I'm really disappointed because I really thought that the Tigers will, apart from what we're hoping from the, athletics participation, we really hope that at least something good was going to come out of basketball, especially in the absence of football. It's until recently that Nigeria has really been like sort of on the rise in basketball. So I was really hoping something spectacular, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. So hugely disappointing, and they go out with their heads bowed. Like we keep saying, 2024. I mean, I hope after 2024 we won't be looking forward to 2028 again.
Los Angeles 2028.
Yeah, exactly. It's time we really need to put our house in order. And whenever we have a competition, go there, do the job, and take your eyes off, the next competition, which is in 4 years. In 4 years' time, how many of these athletes, these basketballers will even be in the team? First of all, qualifying for the basketball event.
Take a lot of process.
A lot,
you
because
have to win the Afro basketball.
Exactly,
you go for another preliminary, games,
so
qualify from there before
really,
you go to like about
really a Herculean task in qualifying in the first place. So what's the guarantee that the Tigers will qualify in France? So whenever we have a competition, let's really put our acts together, go out there, do the job done, and stop hoping that, okay, yeah, we lost, okay, let's work. If it was, for younger athletes like the likes of the other athletes, the Estars and the rest of them, we could say, okay, fine, these are young athletes, they are barely out of their teenage years, or they're still teenagers. We could say, okay, we are grooming those kind of athletes for future Olympics, but not tested, basketball players like in the NBA, playing in NBA, but to lose scandalously in this way, I mean, is highly, highly unacceptable. Especially losing to the Australians, lost to the Germans, and now the Italians. So I really don't know what to make of this defeat. At least they would have even come away with at least one victory and gone out, holding their heads high. But this hasn't been the case in this time around. Very, very disappointing Olympics. I must say, without sounding like a broken record, but it's been really disappointing.
Of course, the last time we won, the last time the Tigers actually won a game in the Olympics were far back in 2012. We still actually remain the only African team that has won a game in the game of basketball in the Olympics. But I want to ask. Fidelis at this point in time, should we actually probe the Tigers? But before you answer this question, we'll go for a short break. We'll go for a short commercial break, and when we come back, Fidelis will be answering the question: should we probe the Tigers?
and the pre-games,
Mm.
all right? Because actually, when they defeated USA during the pre-Olympic Games,
Mm.
I was envisioning how we are going to actually declare public holiday when they bring home the gold. You know, because I saw them at that time as a team that could actually go out there and bring home the gold. But the truth is, when they got there, they got complacent, all right?
Mm.
Because after that USA defeat, a lot of persons praised them, some hailed them, said a lot of things. Wow, this is the best team we've ever had when it comes to basketball. Oh, this is the gold team, whatever. We said a lot of things. And I think that actually got into their heads, and they went into the game with the mindset of the pre-games, all right? Which, of course, there is a very big difference between the both. And when they got in, the complacency came in, and they saw the other teams like, oh, if we could beat USA, which is number one, oh, come on, these guys are just a walkover for us. But they forgot that it's not actually like that, all right? Because these guys are coming in for business. This is not a pre-games. And I think that's actually what happened in the first game, and maybe a bit of the second game. And in this the third game, they just said like, there's nothing to play for again. There's really nothing to play for again. If we've lost the first, lost the second, let's just enjoy ourselves and we go. Anyway, I will have to commend them, all right, for even qualifying for the Olympics. It's not easy, and I think I will have to support Vivian for this at this time. I have to support Vivian. 2024 will be another time for them, but I will have to advise them when it comes to 2024. They shouldn't go there and get complacent with whatever pre-games they will play before the main tournament or the main competition. All right, there is big difference between pre-games and real competition, but that of probing them, I don't think we have to probe them. All right, they've tried their best. They've tried their best. We just have to commend them and give them all the necessary encouragement they will need to prepare for the next Olympic Games or whatever competitions that they will be going for from now henceforth.
We just have to, get to support them and hope that 2024 we get to qualify for the basketball event because we actually made history. Let me just say we actually made history. We're the first African, country to present both a male and a female team to the Olympics for the very first time in the history of the game. But still, looking at the table and looking at the game between Australia. I was supposed to check the game between Australia, but just looking at the table, we are placed fourth in the group with 0 points. I wanted to check the last game. Okay, the Australian and the Germans played 89 to 76 in favor of the Australians in that particular one. So as it stands now, the Australians are the group leaders in Group B. They have played 3 matches. They won all their 3 matches, and it's 100 points for them. The Italians, they actually not played 3 matches. They won 2 and they lost 1. So it is 66 points, 7 points for them. The Germans, they played 3 games. They won 1. That was against Nigeria, and they lost 2. And they actually got having getting that performance. It is 33 points, 3 points for them. So they get to wait and see what will happen in Group C. They have Slovenia, Spain, Argentina, and Japan to fancy their chance of qualifying to the next round. But at this point in time, we want to tell you what really happened in Group A, where so it's just so surprising that France were the one that actually emerged winners in that group because they played 3 matches. They actually won all their 3 matches. 100% record performance for the French side. The world champions, talking about the defending champions, US, they came second after playing 3 matches. They won 2, they lost 1, and they had 66.7%. They were followed by Czech Republic. They actually played their 3 games. They won 1 and they lost 2. They have 0.3%, followed by Iran, played 3 games, they lost all their 3 games. And at this point in time, looking at the German and uh, Czech Republic has the same point, 33.3. So anything can happen. So but just be waiting for the last group game in Group C, talking about Slovenia, Spain, Argentina, and Japan, for them to see if they can actually make it to the next round. But looking at all these, who do you tip for winning the basketball event? We know it's too early to call at this point in time, but looking at all the groups,
Things that look like favorites.
hmm,
Well, I think the Australians.
okay, okay. Let's just put it like this: which of the countries do you see, getting to the semi-final stage?
Okay, semi-final will have 4 teams.
Mm.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the Australians. The French could be there. I still think the United States might, get their acts together. They really haven't been at their best performances in this competition so far. But I mean, it's the US. I mean, home of basketball. You can still expect anything from them. So I'm not ruling them out. At this point in time. So the US, Australia, probably the French. Then I know then between Spain and Argentina, because Spain is also when it comes to basketball, especially in Europe, Spain is actually a basketball powerhouse also. Same for Argentina. So I'm looking I think one of these teams between Spain and Argentina will make up, the the 4 countries who will go all the way to the quarterfinals. So for now those are the pairings. I'm permutating for as it stands.
Let's get our top four. Vivian, which of these countries do you see, getting to the semi-finals?
I think Australia, because they already qualified. I think France, Argentina, and then the United States.
Of course, Fidelis, your pick for the semi-finals.
Well, for me, I'm just gonna pick two. I would say the Australians, um, Argentina, and any other two.
You don't see the French team, getting through the finals. Yeah,
If
they
they-
have 100%
if they
record.
get to the
Winners
semi-final,
of winners of their group. In the
The
group
group
they
that
had
had
the
the
US and the
exactly.
Czech Republic.
if they get to the semi-final, then kudos to them. But I just made my pick, right?
Of course, it's a game of basketball anyway. But I'm hopeful to see the likes of the Australians, because they are good when it comes to 3 points. I'll give it up to Nels. Yes, has been the one solid, player getting to score the 3 pointers for the Australians. So I give it up to them. The French team also, they are beginning to show, beginning to show class when it comes to the game of basketball. They defeated, USA in the match. So also US will be in that mix. Then I don't see Argentina, getting to get to the semi-final, because they have lost their first 2 matches. So at this point in time, they don't really stand a chance of looking at the likes of Slovenia or Spain. Any of them can actually join them to qualify to qualify to the semi-final event of the basketball game. So that is that for the basketball. You know, news, coming out from the ongoing Tokyo Olympic Games. So, leaving the slamming and talking game, we still heard back to the athletics, talking about the 100 meters event, where the Jamaicans were the one that actually, they won the gold, the silver, and the bronze medal in the 100 meters event. And a certain, Thompson Hehira, getting to defend our Olympic title, and also she set another record for herself. She emerged as the second fastest woman in the world. What do you make up of this 29 years old? She ran 10.61 seconds for her to win the 100 meters title. She actually retained a title in that particular one. Vivian, let's get your reaction on the Jamaicans. They actually went home with all the medals in that particular event.
Yeah, I'm not very surprised that they did such a fantastic job. I think men and women, when it comes to the Jamaicans, they've always won the 100 meters since 2008. So I think it was very much expected for these athletes to actually do their best and perform to the highest standard. I think, again, it is sad that Nigeria was not able to make the cut for so many reasons, and we just have to look forward to the next Olympics.
The Jamaicans, getting to sweep all the medals in the 100 meters event. Let's get your reaction.
Well, for me, I would just say, as a nation, when you know what you are good at and you actually prepare for it, this is what you get, right? Picking the gold, the silver, and the bronze medal is not something that comes by coincidence, right? It shows that they know they are good in this and they've actually prepared to win it, and that's why they had to win it. So, congratulations to them.
No, of course, congratulations to them. Alpha, you want to say something about it?
Yeah, I mean, the Jamaicans, when it comes to athletics, they are always up there alongside the United States. So no surprises to them. I mean, the Jamaicans, that's the country that gave us the Usain Bolt and the rest of them. So no surprise there. They are always they really have a good system in place when it comes to athletics, especially. They have this system where they keep churning out spectacular athletes in the athletics competition. So it's no surprise. Like I said initially, these things don't happen by chance. It takes a lot of preparation. It takes a lot of conscious effort and preparation on the part of government, investors, and the sports authorities in the country to be able to consistently bring this kind of athletes on a regular basis. So congrats to them. And I mean, what else can you say about the Jamaicans? They are always a team to watch when it comes to the track and field events.
Yeah, always a team to watch in the track and field event. Dapo, join us all the way from Lagos. Dapo, if you can hear me, hi, is Lagos. Hi, is Lagos today?
Lagos is fine. Lagos is fine and bubbly.
Of course, Abuja is actually doing well at this point in time. Dapo, if you can hear me, tell us about your comment to Blessing Okagbare suspension, Divine Oduduru being disqualified, Adegoke, getting to reach his personal best, Shaqiri also qualifying to the semi-final, the likes of Tobi Amusan, getting to win a heat, and also Grace getting to exit from the Olympics, and also looking at the performance from the Tigers. Let's get your quick reaction on all these before we move on.
Well, it was a day of a mixed grill for Nigerian sports. A day of mixed grill. It was unbelievable because it has never happened before for Blessing Okagbare to be disqualified on basis of banned substances. It has never happened to her before. This is the first time since I started watching her far back as 2006. So it is so surprising that this is happening to her. And I don't want to rule out the possibility that it has really happened, because they will not fabricate any results. The same thing, the International Olympic Committee will not also allow any fabrication of results. The same thing with World Athletics Federation. They will not fabricate, because all these things is just the fact. These things happen. And just like we discussed earlier on, this is virtually our last major Olympics that she can actually project to win a medal in the sprint. After now, she does not have any positive chance of winning a medal in the sprint event when the matter is the Olympics. So it is, I cannot rule it out. It happened, and I don't know, nothing anybody can do as it is. And we are just hoping that even if she's going to get a ban, it should not be too long, so that you can actually participate in the next edition of the World Championship, and also our specialty, which is the Diamond League. She's the queen of the Diamond League. Even going into the 2012 Olympics in London, she was rated number 2 in the world, but she kept winning her races in all the Diamond League across the world. But when she got to the Olympics, it was a different ball game. She did a bit from the heat to the finals, and when I got to the finals, the story was different. So as it is, it was just like I kept saying that she go and die there is a kind of desperation. The test was done in July, and this is we just ended July. Today we just ended July today, and which means is an indicator that the test was not long ago that it was done. Which means the human hormone substance was in our system already. Therefore, Oduduru knows that, and he's an experienced athlete, he's an experienced sprinter. He knows that just in the past is when they give you warning, a yellow card, but these days the rules have actually changed. Just one false start, you are disqualified. It has happened to other world class athletes before, but it's just unfortunate that it's happening to him at the Olympics, where he's actually warming up to pick an Olympic medal. But that is gone now, and we have to concentrate on the other event. I think that the first start was in 100 meters, I believe so.
Yes.
So he has to
Yes.
concentrate in the 200 meters.
The
So
200 meters.
he's also a 200 meter specialist. The same, but not the same thing with Okagbare, because Okagbare was actually, penalized for taking a banned substance. So it's a difficult call. So let Oduduru just concentrate with his 200 and be calm. Let them start before you catch up. When you are so determined and say, okay, I have to start before everybody, let me go there. It is first start and it is straight disqualification by the rules of the World Athletics. So for the Tigers, is I don't know what to say concerning them. I don't know. I just don't know what happened to them. It's like they fizzled out at the highest point when you're supposed to prove a point. They fizzled out, and they fizzled out very, very badly. At the time, Nigerians, placed all their hope on the team. So it's quite unfortunate. Therefore, for the Jamaicans winning, it's not the first time. Just as I kept, giving references at London 2012, in the 100 meters, they won first, second, third. So the slogan was they were doing their fingers, three fingers up. They would say 1, 2, 3, Jamaica. 1, 2, 3, Jamaica. That's first, second, third. Just for a single country is a milestone, and I want to commend them for working very hard. And I also know that most of the world-class athletes were trained in the United States. Our own world-class athletes were trained in the United States. Why are we not winning? Why are the Jamaicans winning? So there's something we have to look at it. We have to look into inwardly to see how we can get out of this quagmire. Wally.
A serious quagmire for Team Nigeria at this point in time at the Olympic Games. We just want to wish them all the best. Of course, we're actually returning for Team Nigeria in the athletics event tomorrow. We'll see the likes of Ese Brume getting to compete in the women's long jump event. She will be looking to get one of the best in her fifth place finish at the Rio Olympics in 2016. But Vivian, looking at Ese Brume, she actually emerged. She won the bronze medal at the World Championship in Doha, the long jump event. We expect that she can actually replicate that performance, or even do better than what we saw in Doha.
Yes, when it comes to these athletes, I think always doing better than what they've previously done in the past is always best. I'm just hoping that she should be able to, do whatever that she can really do, because she's going against the Kenyans, Jamaicans, the USA again. So these are all the Nigerian athletes that are competing with. I really hope that she'll be able to do her best and not be affected by all the chaos that's been happening with the team Nigeria in the past few days.
Of course, Fidelis looking at AC Brume, looking at her performance. She has been actually doing very well for herself. We saw her, in the World Championship, at the All African Games, in the Nigerian, Open, talking about the Nigerian, trials, national trials, even in the National Sport Festival, she actually competed. She is one of those athletes that we're actually looking up to for her to give us medal. Can she deliver at the world biggest stage when she starts her event tomorrow?
Well, the question is straight. Uh, and I will give you a straight answer. The truth is, she can deliver, all right? Because this is her career. It's a career she has chosen for herself, and she has been training over time, preparing for this particular event. So for now, we can't say other contenders are better than her. All right. But we hope when she begins her own path, we should be able to go out there and deliver for the nation, And just like Vivian said, she should just try and see how she can get over all that's been happening right there in Japan. All right, we know it hasn't been good news coming in from there, but she should just build on her confidence, go out there and just like you said too, Wally, we are she's one of the persons we are relying on now. We are hoping that she will be able to get us a medal at least. Just give us something to smile. All right, we are just tired
Any
of
color, you're not
anything, just
anything at this point in time.
anything that can just make us
we'll
smile.
do the magic.
We just want to smile,
At all, now we
So just make us smile. We are tired of this bad news. Especially for the past 24 hours. Oduduru red carded, Okagbare suspended, and even if you want to go back to the past 3 days, 10 athletes. So a lot has happened, all right. So she should just try and put a smile on our faces, all right.
Alpha. Fidelis is saying, try and put a smile.
No,
on
absolutely.
the
I mean, he couldn't have said it any better. These are one of the people who, were going into Tokyo that were actually one of the medal hopefuls. In Rio, she finished 5th. So I think, there should be an improvement. Like I said yesterday, when you go to a tournament or competition of this magnitude and you finish at a certain position, you can only do better. In the next competition, it's expected that you step your game up and, improve. So, I mean, all eyes will be on Ese Brume, as she goes in for this one. So I really expect that, she should go on better and at least come out, even if it's a bronze medal. She finished 5th the last time overall. So I am hoping that she, give Nigerians something to really cheer about. Like Fidelis rightly said, so much of disappointing and sad news in the last 24 hours, not just in the last 24 hours, in the last couple of days. So we really need something to at least come out of the camp in Tokyo. At least by tomorrow, when we are reading sport headlines, let it be some sort of cheering news.
Relief at last.
At least relief, because every day, since this Olympics, you wake up in the morning and the first news, for some of us who are sports reporters who, sort of have sport notifications, you wake up in the morning and the first notification you're getting is, one bad news to the other coming from the camp of Team Nigeria. So I think enough of this bad news. It's time to, for these remaining athletes who have really, gotten to a certain stage in this tournament to really give their all and, put some smiles on the lips of millions of Nigerians who are at home watching. So big things expected from Ese Brume in that one.
Of course, a big thing expected from Ese Brume, but I just want to read a comment from our Facebook page at this point in time. Issa Lucas is saying, with the current outcome of our team in the ongoing Olympic Games, one may be convinced that the right people are not being selected. The team leaders should be investigated. That's where they're coming from. Lucas,
but just to clarify, like we said earlier on,
athletes are not selected.
Exactly. Going to the Olympics is not like you just pick athletes randomly. It's not like the way you select, for instance, in the football team, the Super Eagles, for how you
just invite
players. It's not done like that in athletics. You actually you work for it. So it's not a matter of athletes were selected randomly. You have to go for the trials. You have to compete in all these, events leading to the Olympics. So I think it was the athletes who made the cut that we took to Tokyo. So it's just unfortunate that getting to Tokyo, they haven't been able to, live up to expectations. Of course, so many factors can be said to be responsible for this abysmal performance. But it's not that the athletes were
wrongly selected.
Exactly. This is when it comes to it's not a federal character. You have exactly. It's not federal character does not apply in this case. You have to actually perform for you to to participate in an Olympic
Well,
tournament.
Quickly, just to add, while you were talking earlier, you spoke about some of our athletes being adopted by other countries. All right, they become nationals in those countries, and they compete in competitions for those countries, and at the end, they end up winning medals for those countries. But these people are actually Nigerians. Okay, so I just want to comment people out there. You see, we know you heard a lot of bad news just of recent, right? A lot of athletes going out to Japan being discouraged, saying all sorts of things. That doesn't mean that we get discouraged and not motivated into coming into sports in the country. All right, Nigeria has a lot of a lot of talent. Right, when it comes to sport, we have some of the best in the world. So I just urge them, let them come into the sport. Right, with time things are going to get better, and we hope that even with you coming into sports, things will get better. We can't just fold our hands and hope that everything will get better overnight, all right, when people don't come in. So let's try to see how we can work together and make things right.
Of course, let's see how we can work together and make it right. It's actually calling on individuals, calling on big multinationals for them to support sport generally in the country if we really want to see our athlete do well in international competition. I think that's actually coming from Fidelity at this point in time. But Dapo, Ese Brume should be competing in the long jump event. Ruth Uzora was supposed to compete alongside with her, but at this point in time, with Ese Brume not be overwhelmed with all the pressure that, as it is actually looking at her at this point in time.
Well, she will feel the pressure momentarily because she's a training mate of Blessing Okagbare. She was actually at the point she was looking out to be an athlete, in the mode of Blessing Okagbare. They trained together in Sapele. They were both discovered in Sapele by Chief Solomon Ogba, and they are both, long jumpers at the initial stage. And also, when Okagbare, when she concentrated and specialized in 200 meters and 100 meters, the same thing happened to Ese Brume. Also, Brume, as she is also a 200-meter sprinter, a 200-meter specialist, just like Blessing Okagbare. They are just like two jolly good sisters. So technically, emotionally, she will still be feeling, she will still be feeling bad that somebody, her own mentor, Okagbare was a mentor, is a mentor rather, has just been, disqualified from the Olympics. But be that as it may, she's a professional, and she knows that first and foremost, performing at the higher stage is very, very important to her. It is key to the development of our own career. So I know that she will go there to do her own thing. She's going to go there to do her own thing. She won't look back and say, because somebody like my sister, my mentor, is out of the Olympics. When Okagbare was winning, when she was the toast of Nigerian athletics, Nigerian sports, Ese Brume was at the background, and Okagbare alone, enjoyed and savored everything that came out of her popularity, her fame, and her stardom. So it is time for Ese Brume to prove herself worthy, to prove that she is a true professional. Her current, jump, the jump is world class. She only needs to work on it so that she will beat every other athlete, or every other competitor that will be, fighting out against her. She just put her mind, concentrate on her event. She's only doing the long jump, and let her do it very well. She do it very, very well. And I believe so that she's going there to prove a point that despite the fact that there are one or two psychological, drop down for me, I still have my head is still high up there to achieve and continue to make Nigeria proud. So I'm hopeful that she will go there to do something good. It's not her first time. She was also fantastic at the last edition of the Africa Games. I know the Africa Games is different from the Olympics. The Olympics is a different ball game. But our qualifying jump was very, 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 very exceptional. And I believe that she will go Tokyo now. She will do almost the same thing, if not better, performances in her jump in Tokyo. So the field is open for her to prove a point. Professionals don't look at the shadows of anyone. They look at just their own shadow, just their own performance to keep on moving ahead. So, Ese Brume, all the way.
Actually saying here we are the studio also. We are saying Ese Brume all the way. Car Sprint talking about NDLE in Nimasa. They are all saying Ese Brume all the way for Nigeria. At this point in time, we still want to talk about some semi-final games that will be decided tomorrow morning in the early hours of Sunday morning. The likes of Ishakiri, the likes of Adegoke, and also Tobi Amusan that will be competing in the semi-final event. The likes of Adegoke and Shakiri, they'll be in action for the 100 meters bench semi-final event, while Tobi Amusan she will be competing in the 100 women hurdles event. Vivian, looking at these three athletes, any hope of them, getting to reach the finals?
Yes, so I think the one that I'm most hopeful for, I think, is going to be Enoch. I think he's the strongest among the three. However, I wish all the best to the rest of the athletes as well. Hopefully, if Enoch has a gold, the other two will have silver and bronze.
Okay, you're not actually rooting for the Great Britain at this point in time, Vivian.
No, I think the Great Britain, they've won enough medals. It's our turn now.
Oh, of course, Alpha. Looking at these guys, any hope for them reaching the finals?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we'll be looking forward to that one. This uh, yeah,
Okay.
events will be coming up. 11:15 a.m. Nigerian time. So we'll look forward to that one, and we really hope that Enoch will do something spectacular. Enoch is one of our top athletes out there in Tokyo. So big things also expected from him. So this shouldn't be just another Olympics where we just go there to make up the numbers. At least at the end of this competition, at least we should have a couple of athletes who at least will come home, give Nigeria some sense of pride in participating. So it shouldn't be another event where we just went there to participate for the sake
Because
of exactly for the sake
because
of
I get to
participating.
read it everywhere that Team Nigeria at this point in time are just going to participate and
No, but I mean, but so far that's
on
what
the table.
yeah, that's what it seemed like. I mean, a lot of the medal hopefuls we've had, the story of Okagbare, the Tigers have not, lived up to expectations. So we really hope that these remaining athletes who are there will really do something. Of course, we are looking forward to to wrestling also. That's another event that I'm really keenly
Of course.
looking forward to. So, but for Enoch and Shakiri, we really hope that they do something, spectacular tomorrow.
Of course, your pick for this.
Well, I'll have to root for the three of them.
Mm.
It's not easy to have come this far, right?
Mm.
Now that they are here,
Mm.
we just have to support them to move on. All right, get I think the gold is the target, right? Seriously,
No, of course.
gold is the target.
Mhm.
Okay, until they perform otherwise, I just have to root for them now for gold. Yeah.
Of course, Dapo, looking at the timing of Adegoke, 9.9 thereabout seconds. Ishakiri, 10.15 seconds thereabout. And also looking at the timing of Tobi Amusan, 12.7 seconds thereabout. Do you think if they actually get to replicate the same performance in the semi-final, do you think they can actually get to the finals?
Well, they all have the prospect, in athletics, especially the sprint. Anything can happen once you get when you get your arts right. You'll go there and run unbelievable time. Look at what Adegoke did. 9.98 is just unbelievable. Nigerian athletes for some time now, the men, they've been very, very static on that 10 seconds. They've been very static there. Sometimes they go past it. And we kept asking ourselves, what is really happening? What is happening to our athletes that they're so static? Well, Adegoke came and look at what he did, running a superwoman time. And he has actually set a record. But I believe that when it gets to the serious business of it, we are no longer in the heat or going into, another formality, but moving straight into the race that will give you medal. So I believe they will go all out. They will put their heads in it, do the run, do the sprint. Make sure you don't look back. You don't look at anything. You don't think about anything until you cross the finish line or until you breast the tape. This day we don't breast the tape in the sprint any longer. But finishing, make sure you cross the finish line at the time you actually set out for yourself, the time you know can actually win medal. That is for Adegoke. For Shakiri also, is encouraging that he's running well now. So the time is not encouraging, but he kept qualifying round to round. But he can actually sprint, surprise. He can spring up some surprises when he gets to the final point, or possibly when he gets to close to the medal zone. Well, so that is my own analysis there. The rest, I want to wish them, luck. And I believe that when it gets to this stage, just keep running and just keep running well. They know what to do. They know what to do. Most of them who run and they don't, win, they have one or two reasons for the lapses, for the poor performance. They have one or two reasons for it. Some will tell you I didn't sleep well. Some will tell you I have muscle strain. Some will tell you I have some psychological things going through my mind. I want the athletes, I want them, especially this league, to remove everything from their mind. Just believe and go there and say, I want to do Nigeria proud. I want to do myself proud. It's their career, just like they used to say. It's their career. Go there, do your career well, and also give Nigeria a good name.
Career well and give and enjoy a good name. That was message to all the three athletes that will be competing tomorrow. The likes of the event of Ishakiri will come up 11:15 Nigerian time. Also, Adegoke's event will come up 11:23 Nigerian time. By Tobi Amusan's event will come up 11:45 Nigerian time. The rest are sure that on the leadership newspapers, we are going to give you all the updates as they keep happening, so you can actually keep your finger crossed and ensure that we give you all the latest news happening from Tokyo. But for now, we have a video to play. This is an interview with an Olympian at this point in time, talking about Elizabeth Eyenachu. She actually get to tell us about her experience in the ongoing Tokyo Olympic Games. Let's get to listen.
Hello, Elizabeth. Once again, I want to say congratulations for being to the Olympic. And how has been the experience?
It has been a wonderful experience. It's my first time, and I'm glad to be here alongside other athletes, other country, other competitors. It's really been a great experience for me.
So Elizabeth, this is 2 days after you made your debut at the biggest stage, in the world, the Olympics. 2 days after, what do you feel about the whole experience?
It's a very good one for me because it's the biggest platform. And it shows me that I can be able to handle things if I want to. So it's making me know that no matter how nervous I am, no matter how anxious I am, there are still other people in this big stage, and they are willing to handle those kind of pressure. And I'm glad I'm able to learn that lesson in this competition. Even though I didn't go through my own tournament, but I was able to pick a lot of lessons. I'm sad I didn't make it through, but just going back to Hong
Okay, so you talked about learning some lessons. What are some of the lessons you've learned?
I've learned, like in the aspect of my sport, when you're in a competition ring, you have to just let go. No matter how anxious you are, you have to just do what you've been doing. I froze a little in my match because of maybe the platform. The platform is very big, so I had to, before I could calculate on it, so I didn't have a lot of time, but it's a lesson to step back.
you've always said, Paris is the goal. Paris is 3 years away. How has Tokyo prepared you for Paris? Or how is it going to prepare you for Paris?
Well, I don't think there's anything like too much preparation. So it's just helping me add to my confidence, helping me add to my training plan, and I think it's also a great booster for me.
So you're a student at the Federal University of Technology, Owerri. What kind of support have you received, from your fellow students, and how have you been able to balance preparing for the Olympics with your academics?
Well, everyone has been supportive, both the school, both my classmates, both my family, my friends. Everyone has been really supportive. Anytime I have a competition, I always write to the school, and it grants me permission to go for my competition and come back. So when I come back,
that is Elizabeth, giving us insight about her campaign at the Young Green Olympic Games. Just to let you know, she's a taekwondo athlete, and she actually lost in the first round, and that she is hopeful that 2024 Paris is the target that she is actually getting to ensure that she gets to pick a medal in that particular event. But Vivian, looking at the video, let's get your quick reaction on that.
I think that she's already thinking about 2024. However, we cannot reach 2024 and then have the same performance that she did, or her athletes performed as well. So I think it's good that she's thinking about the future ahead. However, we just hope that they will just do better than now, because we cannot repeat the same mistake.
You see her doing well in 2024?
Well, the truth is, when most of them would, let me just use the word fail, all right, in this current tournament, next thing they will tell you is 4 years time, 2024, 3 years time, But the truth is,
but she's just 22 years old.
She's just 22 years.
She's still young. That she can actually, get to work hard ahead.
When you are 22, that even makes it more difficult, because you have a lot of distractions. All right. Now she's coming back to Nigeria, whereby she's going to have a lot of pressure on her from her academics, from family, from friends, a lot of pressure. So there are a lot of things that would actually distract her from her 2024 goal. All right. So I want to urge the government, all right, while they are coming, don't just leave them, because we've had situations whereby even while they are preparing for 2024, you'll be so surprised that when the 2024 comes, all right, just a month to the tournament, that's when they start seeing how they can gather them, bring them together to come and train for some few hours before they go into the tournament. And by the end of that, they will tell you, okay, 3 years time is another goal. No, we shouldn't be doing that, all right? Now that they're out of the Tokyo 2020 Tokyo Olympics, right? When they come, the government should try to see how they can make things easy for them, all right? Set up facilities for them, whereby even though there are other things that would actually demand their attention, all right? Government should see how they can set up things whereby they won't be so distracted that they forget about the 2024 goal, all right?
I just have to cut you here.
The training has to start from now.
I just have to cut you here right about now. We'll go for a short commercial break. When we come back, it's high time for us to look at the football event and to actually talk about the medal table. Don't go nowhere. From that short break, we head straight to the round leader game at this point in time, where two African representatives that were hoping that they will get to proceed to the semi-final stage and eventually get to play in the finals. they actually crashed out from the Olympic Games. So Spain, getting to defeat Ivory Coast 5-2 after extra time. In extra time, looking at Japan, actually they actually drew their game against the Netherlands, but they match winners in penalties. They defeated the Netherlands 4-2. Then Brazil also edged the Egyptians 1-0. That was just for me a narrow victory for the Brazilians. Then the South Korean Republic, they actually they suffered defeat in the hands of the Mexicans. So they actually lost that match 3-6. So it means Mexico, Brazil, Japan, and Spain are through to the semi-final stage of the football event of the ongoing 2020 Olympic Games. Quickly, just looking at these results, Alpha, was there any surprise? In this event?
Well, not really. The African representatives talking about Cote d'Ivoire and Egypt. At the start of the match, when Cote d'Ivoire were playing the Spaniards, it looked like, the Ivorians had the game. Especially, in 11 minutes into the game, the Ivorians, were a goal up through the United defender, Eric Bailey. But, in just a couple of minutes, he turned villain, from hero to villain, scored an own goal, and of course, caused a penalty that, brought the Spaniards back into the game. So, unfortunately, they're out of the competition. So, we wouldn't be seeing any African representatives, at least having a chance of, clinching a medal. For the Egyptians, they put up a good fight against the Brazilians, but unfortunately, they lost by a slim 1-0 margin. Going for the semi-final pairings, I mean, Brazil are still there, the Spaniards are still there. So I'm thinking between these two, we might see, the winner of, the gold medal, because Japanese playing at home, but I don't really, even if they get to the final, I don't really see them winning gold medal. So I go with between Spain and Brazil.
Looking at the semi-final fixtures, we see Mexico play Brazil. We also see the host country, Japan, get to host the Spanish team. Vivian, who are your pick for the finals?
I think it's going to be between Brazil and Spain. I think Brazil, they are really strong. They've won multiple times. So I think it's going to be between these two.
Fidelis, looking at these semi-final fixtures.
Well, we're still back to Brazil again. We can't talk about football and ride them
I want
off.
to talk about the Samba boys.
So, personally, I'll just say Brazil and Spain in the final. But I'm actually looking up to when we'll have two African teams in a finals like this.
We've had African teams play. Okay, no, those two African teams have not met. It was in the semi-final. I remember in Sydney where Nigeria actually played. Was it Cameroon? Or so I can't remember. But I think African teams have won class in the semi-final, but in the final we are yet to.
So there's still a lot to be done in African football. So we hope we get it right with time.
But quickly, let's get your reaction on the exit of the African, representative, and also the semi-final, fixtures. Of course, at this point in time, is not with us, but at this point in time, looking at for me, I would say. It's going to be a clash of the Titans against the Mexicans and Brazil, because we know that the Mexicans are very, very good when it comes to the game.
There can still be an upset in that Mexico-Brazilian game. It's still a tricky one.
We actually know that the Brazilian has the better players. Looking at Dani Alves, a well-experienced player. Looking at the Everton, guy, Richarlison is also there, getting to do well. We know the pedigree when it comes to football with the Spaniards. They have a quality of players that plays in the Spanish La Liga and also in other parts of the world. So we should actually, for me, I'm putting my money on Spain and Brazil
for the final.
The finals. All the respect to the Japanese and the Mexican team. But let's head straight to the medal table at this point in time, where we see teams, actually getting to shape up again. The People's Republic
Mm.
of China is actually working. I think everything is actually working for them at this point in time.
Absolutely.
Maybe because they are actually playing in their continent, that is why they're actually getting to move up at the table. They are getting to move away from Japan, who are
Mm.
second. They have so far 21 gold medal, 13 silver medal, 12 bronze medal, making it 46 in total. They are ranked first in the medal table. Japan followed second with 17 gold medal, 5 silver, 8 bronze. Looking at United States also, they have won 16 gold medal, 17 bronze medal, 13 17 silver medal, 13 bronze medal. The likes of Russia are fourth on the log with 11 gold medal. Looking at Australia, 10 gold medal. Great Britain, I know Vivian should be smiling at this point in time. They have 8 golds. People's Republic of Korea, they have 5 golds. France, Netherlands, New Zealand all have 4 golds apiece. Looking also Germany, Canada, Switzerland, Czech Republic, Croatia, they have 3 golds apiece also. Looking at the likes of Italy, Hungary, Slovenia, Kosovo, they all have 2 golds and thereabout. But let's quickly get your reaction on the medal table, Vivian.
Again, these are all countries that are competing in multiple sports, even with multiple athletes, not just one athletes like Nigeria, but 5, 6 competing in just one sport. So I think it's very much expected that the United States, Great Britain, China, Japan, they are all at the top, and it's going to stay like this for many years to come.
It's going to stay like this for many years to come. Are we expected to see any changes in the course of the game?
Not really. The Chinese, like I said yesterday, the Chinese have, become a really, strong nation, especially in this Olympic when it comes to sport. They've really asserted themselves as a country to be taken seriously when it comes to the business of sport. I mean, they are clearly ahead of, the chasing pack. So I expect the trend to continue. But, like I keep saying, at the end of the day, I still expect the Chinese, the Japanese, the United States, and maybe Australia to make up, the top 4.
Top 4 for you.
Yeah, when most of these countries leave the competition without medals, right? It would be worrisome because we've known them to be good countries when it comes to Olympic games and sports in general. But while you were reading out the list, I was actually trying to see if there's any way I could, just see I can put in Nigeria. Put in Nigeria.
At this point in time, we're still enjoying the But at this point in time, we will have to call it a day. We'll have to thank Vivian joining us all the way from Sheffield, London.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, Dapo, thank you for coming on the show all the way from Lagos. Also, Alpha, regular face on the show. Thanks for making today's show.
Another pleasure once again to be here.
Fidelisu is actually making his debut on the Tokyo show. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Adi.
Of course, at this point in time, we want to thank all our sponsors, our partners, talking about our cast print for supporting the show. They are the best digital printing company in all over the world. Also, talking about NDLEA, they are actually saying no to drugs and they are supporting Team Nigeria from Nigeria at this point in time. Also, Nimasa getting to support the show. We thank you guys for supporting us at this point in time. We want to say thank you for joining us. Please join us also tomorrow for another edition of 2020 Tokyo in 120 minutes. My name is Olawale Ayeni. I'm saying do have a good night rest. Ensure that you pray for Team Nigeria tomorrow. Christians, you'll be going to church. Ensure that you pray for Team Nigeria tomorrow. But for now, bye-bye. I say God bless you. Have a good night rest.